Hey guys, Bob here. The mail finally delivered my last copy of my 2020 subscription to Waxwork Records, and it is the Friday the 13th Part 8 soundtrack. Um, I'm going to show you the packaging and then give you my thoughts on the soundtrack as a whole. And here's the front. Here's the inside of the gatefold. It's got the toxic waste thing going on from the sewer. There's Jason unmasked. And then there is the back. Your track listing, side A. Side B. Side C. I apologize for the glare, but it's a necessary evil to get the light in here. Then that's side D. And I do like how it's made to look like the subway markers there on where it says Part 8. And on the spine, notice it does the same thing with the Part 8 and how it looks like it does on the subway signs. So the first LP actually, the sleeve actually slides out of that. That's what Jason looks like when he's looking through the porthole on that. And he actually slides out of that. And so you've got this really nice sleeve here. And here is the toxic waste colored, LP. Center stickers, the Eye Hockey Mask New York. You flip it over. It is a picture of lightning striking the New York City timeline, and you notice the eye holes of the hockey mask are up above it. The back side of that first LP sleeve is basically just a large version of the back side of the print on side B of the album. You notice you see more detail, like you actually see Jason's eyes in there and the eye holes, and the upside down red triangle on the hockey mask is a lot more apparent than it is on the actual center sticker on the LP. So the second LP, the sleeve's just your standard black LP sleeve. It doesn't even have the plastic in the center or the static lining. This one's kind of a pink purplish color. You notice I think that's supposed to be like a subway map for the center sticker there. And the back is it's the same Jason artwork that was in the center of the gatefold for the face. It's just basically on that sticker there. And as a subscriber, I also got this nice slip mat to go on my record player, my turntable, whatever you want to call it. So, Friday the 13th Part 8, out of all the Friday the 13th scores, it's probably my least favorite. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because it feels more like a generic horror movie. Fred Mullen does a soundtrack for this. Harry Manfredini has nothing to do with this one. And it shows. It just doesn't feel like any of the other Friday the 13th scores. And that's, I'm not knocking Fred Mullen's work. I mean, if this weren't a Friday the 13th movie, the soundtrack would be serviceable. And I would probably like it a lot better. But since it's Friday the 13th Part 8, by this point in time, you kind of have a certain feel to it you kind of expect to have. That it would be like, say, Star Wars Episode 8 or something like that, deciding not to use the main Star Wars theme anymore. It's along those lines. There are certain things you kind of come to expect from a Friday the 13th movie, and in terms of the score, and it didn't happen. I can understand trying something different. I can. They don't want to get just, oh my gosh, repetitive, but I feel that take 4 years later when New Line made Jason Goes to Hell and brought back Harry Manfredini. I feel like that still felt like a Friday the 13th movie because it still had enough elements from the earlier scores merged with something new to make it work. And you know, there are ways to make it feel new without going making it feel so completely foreign to the rest of the series, and I feel like that's what happened here. Now there are some segments of this soundtrack that I like. Most notably some of it when they're actually in New York, when like Jason and the waitress, which is when they, of course, in the diner, and if you've seen the movie, Kane Hodder picks up Ken Kersinger and throws him in the mirror, and and then we chase him down to the sewer, and when Jason gets electrocuted on that track, it's a segment that it pretty much starts at track 20, which is on side C, and goes through track 23. It's kind of a dark, foreboding section of score. I would have preferred, like I say, if you'd had a few more elements of the classical Friday the 13th music in there, but as far as effectiveness, these are probably the most effective section of the score. Now, that's not to say that the song "The Darkest Side of the Night" isn't I like that song. I'm happy to finally have it on an LP and a proper version of the soundtrack. So that's gets brownie points. And when I talk about that being not liking the scores, well, I'm not talking about that song, even though that song is part of the score for this, because Friday the 13th Part 8, coming out in 1989, is a prime snapshot of 80s, I guess. And that song is very much a product of the 1980s. When you listen to it today, it's what it sounds like. That is not a knock. I love that about it, and that's one of my favorite things about it. I am, after all, a product of the 1980s. But Fred Mullen also composed a lot of the music that appeared in Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, and I feel like he did a better job with that one of merging the new with the old, even though some of the old cues were used by from Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, were just recycled and put into Part 7. But it felt more like a Friday the 13th score than this one did. But in the end, I'm going to give the music portion of this, I want to give it a C, because it's, if you were to ignore the fact that it's a Friday the 13th score and just give it a generic rating, it would be serviceable, and it would be good, and I would probably get it up to maybe a B, but it just doesn't feel like a Friday the 13th movie to me. Now, as far as Waxwork's packaging here, it's Waxwork. It's a very high quality pressing. I like the slide out Jason looking through the porthole, and the porthole is a nice touch because that better describes the movie than if you'd put like the cover art on there and it's Jason looking over the Manhattan cityscape. Because let's face it, most of the movie spent on that boat heading to New York. But as far as there weren't any liner notes with mine. There probably wasn't, but I would have been kind of interested in reading them had they come, but that's no biggie. I know it was probably well known in advance of the release that this release didn't have them, but if you watched my last few videos, my life has been a circus the last little bit, so it is what it is. But anyway, if you've got the other 7 Friday the 13th soundtracks from Waxwork, pick it up. And if you're a horror fan, yeah, I think you'll enjoy this because it would make a good standalone horror score, but to me, it just doesn't feel like it lines up with the rest of the Friday the 13th soundtracks. Well, that's all I've got for this review. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please give it a like and please consider subscribing to this channel. In this channel, I review any and all things movie related and sometimes some TV series stuff, because I know like a couple weeks ago I reviewed the Batman the Animated Series, or unboxed it, I guess, box set, and I do delve off into some of that other stuff, but I'm a horror collector first, and I also like Star Wars and some of that other stuff. So if you guys are interested in watching that stuff, follow me along, and hopefully you have some good times watching it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Bob, signing off.